What's up, y'all? It's your boy Major 7th. We just wrapped up episode 449 where we talked about Cardi B's reimagination of Jay-Z's Imaginary Player. Was it up to par? Was it not? We also talked about one of the XXL freshmen who said that he uses ChatGPT for his lyrics. And we also talked about Freddie, Gibbs, and Benny the Butcher. Those two reconciling their differences. We also ended with Steven Jackson holding Lil Yachty accountable for his George Floyd comments. Was that necessary? Was that OG love? Don't forget to like and subscribe for the new old heads, and we'll see y'all on the show. Peace.
You're listening to the New Old Heads podcast, shot live every Tuesday at twitch.tv/newoldheads and released every Thursday at noon via bringingdowntheband.com. The show is brought to you by Coleman Dental, Indie CD and Vinyl. Support the show directly by becoming a member at patreon.com/newoldheads.
You are now tuned in to the New Old Heads podcast. I am Major 7th. The brothers are in the building, starting off with my man in the crispy polo, my man Jay Moore. How are you, sir?
You know, as always, clapping but can't fly, kicking but not high.
That's what I'm talking about, man. In the driver's seat, my man Lonegevity. Hey, buddy.
Howdy. Kicking and flapping and flying and stuff.
Nah, it just didn't land the same.
Okay, well, there we are.
Good to see you, though.
You too.
My man DJ Jay Diff, what's happening, man?
Salutation.
I see you rocking that Shador, man. I see you. That's an exclusive jersey right now.
It's not very exclusive.
I mean,
anybody can go
actually,
buy
it's
it.
a very high-selling jersey right now.
I'm just saying, everybody don't have one. If it was like that, we'd all have one. I mean, you
if
did
wanna,
the work to get it.
I mean, I just spent the money to get it, if that's considered work. But
I mean,
I just want to support a player that I like watching.
We got a special guest in the building, and we appreciate everything that you've done in terms of sewing back into Indianapolis, bro. Like, I have to give you your flowers while we here. We friends. We've known each other for years, but you never can be too cute to give people what they're supposed to get.
Cute.
Don't do that. But we appreciate you, bro, for taking your time out. You are a very busy man. I know that. We know that. So I appreciate you stopping by the show, bro.
I'm very, very happy to be here. Thank you. Welcome to be back.
That's when you know you that dude. Thank you.
I mean, what else am I supposed to do?
Let's go ahead and pivot and jump into our rundown. So Jay-Z gave Cardi B his blessing, but did she do his classic justice? That's the question. So Cardi B's Imaginary Players interpolates the iconic melody from Jay-Z's 1996 hit Imaginary Players. We were all outside. We know this one. Cardi B confirmed she received Jay's personal approval for the sample. Imaginary Players subsequently propelled Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt back onto the Billboard charts because of the recent, I guess, surge of people streaming and, you know, things of that nature.
Was that on Reasonable Doubt, or was that in My Lifetime?
It was on In My Lifetime. I don't know why they put Reasonable Doubt in there.
Yeah, it was volume 1.
It was volume 1 for In My Lifetime. One of my favorite Jay albums, if we're being honest.
So that's interesting that maybe Reasonable Doubt is charting, but it's not that album.
Maybe people doing homework and going in order. I don't know, but it definitely was on volume 1 for sure. So I mean, we can jump right in. So does Jay-Z's approval of Cardi's Imaginary Players sample validate the track, or does it ultimately have to stand on its own in terms of its own merits? Because this one is one of those ones where I'm seeing people, it's kind of 50-50 from what I see. You know, did it do it justice? There's a side here and there's a side that says she did what she was supposed to do. So how do you guys feel about it? And Terry, I'll come to you first. What you think, bro?
Me first? Okay.
Yeah, I'm coming to you first.
Honestly, Jay-Z giving the approval for the sample is pretty much all the approval that's needed.
Yeah.
As far as that's concerned. I think people are reading too much into this. I mean, this is part of what happens in the music game. Hip hop, we know, is a sampling art form. For Jay to extend the sample to her, he in turns gets paid for this as well. You know what I'm saying?
Or does Renee and Angela? I was say Renee and Angela.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, because that's the original.
Yeah.
So yeah, of course they get paid too. But she got on the beat. She did what she was supposed to do as Cardi B. I mean, what do you think Cardi B is supposed to be rapping like?
Well, I
not you specifically, but like just in general. This is what this, I mean, and she rode his flow. I mean, it's the same cadence mixed with a little bit of her own flavor. But I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is, and it did what it was supposed to do. Now, are her core fan base, are they going to appreciate it the same way that somebody that is familiar with the original track going to appreciate it? That's the only kind of trade-off, or, you know what I'm saying, question I would have in mind, because they're not really run-of-the-mill hip-hop fans like that, per se, or they're not looking at Cardi B to give them a hip-hop track. They're looking at Cardi B to give them a dance track, a party track, a club track, versus this is, you know what I'm saying, her kind of flexing her muscle a little bit.
So I'm going to go to, actually, I think that's a good point. Metronome, I'm going to come to you, and I'm echoing what I asked Terry, but in terms of it being able to stand on its own versus being about Jay, I guess, clearing the sample. Like, where are you on that, and just your overall thoughts on the record?
Yeah, man, I didn't hate the record at all. I mean, Cardi can rap when she's trying to rap, you know what I mean? So, I mean, if it were a situation, to Terry's point, where, I don't know, you had a Lil Yachty, Cold Like Minnesota flow over that, it would not have made sense. But I feel like the fact that she kind of matched the cadence, and honestly, the Renee Angela sample stands on its own. I feel like it was a good record, but it's also interesting because that Imaginary Players was not a hit record.
It wasn't even a single.
Yeah, it wasn't even a single. I mean, it's really, really kind of a deeper album cut. Like, we play it at Coaches a lot, stuff like that. But your average hip hop fan doesn't even know that record. So I think it's kind of interesting how, the tide turns, and then you have people doing the research. Now, I do question the whole strategy. I saw people on, Instagram being like, "Oh, there's levels to this. Jay's collecting all this money." Like, sometimes stuff just happens. Sometimes things just naturally occur, and I don't know why she chose that particular record to reinterpret. But I don't think that it was, some Jay-Z master plan to have all of his albums charting because Cardi B is going to do this. But, at the same time, I also cannot be mad that Cardi fans might go exploring other records. Like, if it leads them to checking out Reasonable Doubt, which they haven't heard, then to me, that's really no different than all of us going back and exploring samples that we didn't even know about that, people were flipping back in the day. So I think it is just the nature of hip hop in the sampled art form that it is. So, but yeah, I mean, I thought it was dope for what it was.
Let me ask you this, and then I'll get to the rest of the fellas. Does this get run or no from you?
I mean, I would,
or is it too early for me to ask you that?
It's not a record that I see myself playing for a considerable amount of time, but in the moment, if I'm at the right place, if I'm at Coaches, yeah, I could run the Renee and Angela into the Jay, into the Cardi, and it would make sense, but I'm not telling you that in the year 2031, I'm playing this at parties. I'm probably not, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, for the moment, it is what it is. I like it enough, you know what I mean? I think that's kind of where I kind of leave it now. We'll see what happens with it, but I mean, but to be real, like, I don't like it more than Jay's, obviously. So like, at the end of the day, I'm always going to come back to that, to the original Jay record if I'm really feeling an Imaginary Player song.
No, for sure. Jay, what you think?
I actually like this record. When I heard the concept of it, I was like, nah, I'm cool. But then, like I said, Cardi didn't turn this into some ass shaking anthem, and nothing against ass shaking anthems. There's a time and a place for to enjoy and ass shaking. But I thoroughly, I like it mostly because of the flow Cardi has here, and that she is honestly thematically staying on what Jay did initially. Like, Jay was taught this, where you get the 4.0 versus the 4.6. You know what I'm saying? Like, so Cardi's doing a lot of that. It's kind of tone deaf considering where a lot of people in America are as far as not being able to afford groceries, and talking about how rich you are. And, that's kind of a weird thing. But honestly, when we look to entertainers, we're not really looking to a certain level of reality grounding. So I can't be mad at that. I think it's awesome if people are going back to listen to what Jay did initially. Now we're talking about a song that's almost 30 years old.
Yeah, true.
And if we can get people to, connect the dots in that way, it's always good culturally when that sort of thing happens. But, I also have to take into account, because this is what I do, okay, how is this going to work with what we consider to be a rollout? Her album comes out in a month. And is there another song that's going to, come behind this? It's really going to say, okay, now Cardi's back with her second album. And it's crazy, like 6-7 years. Like this is a long time for a follow-up.
I wasn't counting.
Though.
This is the second single. Yeah. And a lot of times people look at chart positions. Whatever this song does, I don't think it's anything I don't see it being anything that really works on radio. It's not going to work in the mainstream clubs where, when the music is geared towards women 21 to 29. I think it's going to be something that, people like us, hip hop heads who remember the original, have conversations about. And like I said, I don't have particularly anything bad to say about it. So shout out to Cardi, shout out to Jay, shout out to Angela Winbush, St. Louis in the building. You know how it go.
I'll tell you where it will work.
Where?
It's going to work on the East Coast. And it makes perfect sense for her to use that beat being from New York, because New York, I think New York is trying to get their bearings back as far as
identity.
Yeah. As far as being, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they're the mecca of hip hop at the end of the day.
Right.
This works for that crowd and for that region. I guarantee you that they're spinning this right now.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. Well, now, something else that I had considered after listening to it was it kind of reminded me to a degree, but in a different way, of Big Pun and Fat Joe flipping deep cover. But the ironic part is that I think the Big Pun record ended up having more legs than the original Dre joint, right? So because of that classic Big Pun verse and everything, this isn't going to be that.
No,
you can make it.
You know what I mean?
That's
so
a good point.
It's a good record, but this is not gonna overtake Jay's record by any means.
You actually hit on something there, Metronome, because I was going to lead into. I had another we had another question set up, and that really was, how does Cardi B's version compare to other artists who have sampled or reinterpreted classic hip hop tracks? You just brought up a classic, iconic remake. It's one of those ones where it was powerful enough to make you be like, you have to scratch your head and say, yeah, I remember the OG, but I'm thinking Italy. That's what draws me to it.
Right.
To your point.
I mean, there's not that many
That's what
versions
I was about to ask.
where the remake is like clearly better than the original one. I mean, I'd be curious which ones
Lottie
you guys.
Dottie.
Yeah.
Lottie Dottie is good.
Snoop Lottie Dottie for sure.
Yeah, that's good.
Nah,
You like the original better than the Snoop version?
I like Slick Rick's version.
I mean,
I'm,
I mean, it makes
Who are you
sense.
talking to? I mean,
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, I like Slick Rick's version better, but Snoop's version works
was
since
incredible.
it served it justice.
It's more of a song.
Yeah, absolutely.
if we dig deep though, outside of the two that we've named, is there anything where, the remake was kind of to the point where you had to scratch your head to be like, yeah, they did that.
I'm really thinking, man.
I can't
Remember
think
they
of
did a
any.
whole project where it was all remakes. It was like, because I remember
Who's they? What do you mean?
I remember they did a whole project. I remember like the Dog Pound did Knick Knack Paddywhack.
Oh,
They had
yeah.
Bone Thugs do Straight Outta Compton or Gangsta. It was a whole project where they basically had new and current rappers remake. I think this came about like maybe 96, 97.
Sounds horrible.
I'll say
It really wasn't.
like the
It really
terrible
wasn't
rap
great.
version
I
of Kids
remember
Bop.
I remember the Def Squad did Rapper's Delight, which I liked.
I do remember that.
I remember that one.
But
sure.
the rest of the project was like, it was, and then like even Snoop tried to go back to the well and do Vapors on his second album, and it didn't hit.
I mean, there was a Nas and Mary J. Blige record that flipped Wu-Tang Triumph a number of years ago. But like there's always like random. But
you know what?
It never really made much of a splash at all.
You know what, bro? That's why I'm glad he's here. I've never heard that.
Yeah,
you probably don't need to.
Yeah,
Don't.
I mean,
do that.
again, not a terrible record, but also just like, again, like you're talking. Some of these records are, I mean, Jay's Imaginary Play is an iconic record.
To me, it is for sure.
For actual hip hop fans. So it takes a lot to like really propel it, or even kind of get it nose and nose with the original.
I have one submission that I would like to put in front of the court. It's Elzai's Elmatic. That
man, look,
project is very, very, very good.
Let me shout out Mr. Kinetic one time because we actually got into a Twitter argument where he got mad at me because I was pushing for Elmatic so hard.
Elmatic is really good, bro.
Yeah,
I have the poster over there.
Yeah, they killed that.
When I think about this conversation, I less think about like song remakes and more so like when a producer is using an obvious sample that was obviously used in a previous song and kind of flipped it in a different particular type of way, or if I hear like on Chance's new record, I don't know if you heard it yet, but there's like one moment in one of the songs, I don't remember the name of it, but it's
the one with Do or Die.
Well, there's that one.
Flip.
There's that one, but there was like a direct reference in like the cadence of like something he was doing that was a direct
Anita
reference.
Baker. There was the one where he kind of does the Anita Baker chorus. I think that one was I can't remember the title.
Yeah, I mean it's not important, but like it. That's what I think about because I can't really think of any songs that stand out. Like
you thinking more original sample flips that turn into dope records? Is that where you're leaning?
I'm thinking more so somebody takes a sample that is known to have been flipped before and then turns it. To me, this Cardi record kind of sounds like, because of how she's rapping and everything, and it's different too. You know what I mean? Like it's not like a remake. Like she's doing her own thing with it. It's like boss shit. You know what I mean? But like it's capitalism bar. Shouts to Brad. It's like I'm not interested in it. It's like okay, cool. It's like what you said, Jay. Is like kind of
tone deaf.
Yeah, tone deaf a little bit, but at the same time, like I feel like she did it in a very tasteful way. But when I think about this, I just think about producers that kind of like they do that intentionally. It's like I know this has been flipped over here. I'm going to flip it in a similar type of way to pay some homage. In
the
type
90s,
that's real.
They used to do it a lot. Like it would be a lot of songs on the radio that were the same exact sample, just flipped differently. Like Big Papa was sampled Between the Sheets. Yeah. And the Brat used it.
She did.
On Functified. Somebody else used that exact same beat too. I can't remember exactly who. But I feel like there was a segment of time where multiple producers were putting out the exact same sample on purpose because it was recognizable.
Yeah, it felt like it.
At one point, I think like the DeBarge Stay With Me that most people know from.
Yeah, that's a good
Shanti
one.
And
yeah, but they know
that's
from
a good one.
The remix to One More Chance. I mean, I remember there was a record of Funkmaster Flex as a Safe Sex No Breaks. That was one MVP, the original MVP that a lot of people know from. Big L had that sample. So it was like in a short amount of time, it was like there was three people, like DeBarge was getting three different checks.
Yeah.
But I think that was also just prominent coming out of the 80s where like literally James Brown was sampled on every single record that came out. Like I think that there was just a different mentality at that point.
Yeah.
No, that's real. So a double XL freshman just admitted to using AI to write rhymes. Is this the future of hip hop? That, my friends, is the question. Now, shout out to the homie Curtis King. He recounted a conversation where BabyChiefDoIt, I believe it's from Chicago. You want me to say it again? I'm not going to do that.
No, I think you should, just to make sure.
BabyChiefDoIt.
Okay.
Allegedly admitted to using ChatGPT for songwriting. Now, BabyChiefDoIt later denied using AI as a solution for his lyrics in an interview with Complex. Now, this sparked a larger conversation about the role of technology in hip hop and what really constitutes authenticity. We're going to watch a video from the homie Curtis King, and then we will discuss.
But he's talking about, or he admits to using ChatGPT to write his recent verses. This is a double XL freshman, by the way. It's the only reason all this attention is on him like this. Continue, sir.
Man, you posted something the other day that I thought was really dope. You said just because you got enough money to buy it don't mean you can afford it. I think that type of mindset.
What's that?
Yeah.
When I do that? Wait. What I say?
You said just because you can buy it don't mean you can afford it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, man.
I see. That's what I say.
You don't even remember.
No, you
you be motivating people. You don't even remember.
I ain't gonna lie. I just be having on my to get off my chest. You feel me?
ChatGPT probably wrote that for you.
Yeah, bullshit. I just downloaded that 2 days ago. I didn't know that worked so well. I've been using that to write my lyrics.
Maybe you can collab with Timbaland.
That's my thoughts.
Man, we gonna get there. We're gonna save that because we're gonna get there. But keep in mind, this young man, I believe, is from Chi-Town. He's 17, if I'm not mistaken.
He's 14, 15, 16.
Don't do that.
17, 18, and 19. Or 20.
I think he's around 17.
I'm 14, 15, and 16. I'm 17, 18, 19, 20.
I don't know if ChatGPT said that or he said that.
He must be smoking.
Pause.
You say I ain't top 3 in a rack, and your ass must be smoking.
Smoking is crazy.
That is crazy.
I'm glad you said that.
This is where we need
That's
the camera
crazy work.
Sound bite.
There we go.
Metronome, that's elite crazy work right there. Okay.
Baby Chief Do It said it first. I'm just quoting.
Okay.
If ChatGPT wrote that for him, no.
ChatGPT, it did not. Never mind. All right. So, if an artist utilizes the AI tools but still delivers compelling performances, does this diminish that artist's value in hip hop? So they're using the cheat code. They're typing everything in. How does that look?
Is this the same as Rhyme Zone?
He uses Rhyme Zone as well. He said that it gives him a list of words that he can rhyme with words. So
is this like a hip hop thesaurus?
I mean,
kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a website that you just type in a word and it'll show you all the things that rhyme with it.
I will say this: Curtis King did say in that video, I wasn't able to chop it, but he says Mickey Fax has said he used Rhyme Zone to get words. So he kind of,
I've used it in
throwing
like
him a bone.
2005.
All right, Lone said the same thing.
Yeah.
Cool, we throwing him a bone, but overall, like, how do we feel about this? Does it cheapen what this young man has going on, or are we just in this era where everything is acceptable and we just have to roll with it as the quote unquote old heads? Jay Moore, I'm gonna come to you first. What you got?
What I know about AI and just some of the tools that are used. I'm not sure about ChatGPT, but I know for some of the tools they have to be trained. So it has to have something to go off of. And what's this kid's name again?
Baby Chief Do It.
Baby Chief Do It. I don't know if there's a template or enough out there that ChatGPT can draw from to say, okay, I'm gonna spit some Baby Chief Do It rhymes and make this make sense. Because then you're gonna be able to hear, okay, that he definitely wrote that, and then you're gonna be like, okay, ChatGPT clearly wrote this, because this doesn't sound anything like what Baby Chief Do It would ever write down on a piece of paper. So I think this is the future? Yes, to a certain extent. I'm sure there are plenty of artists who would be smart enough not to admit it, are using these AI tools to assist them in their artistry.
But how do you feel about
it's
the
just
concept?
The concept, look, at this point, we live in a world of ghostwriters, ghost producers.
That's fair.
I was saying, there's been songwriters forever.
That's fair.
That's fair. So my whole thing is like, discretion is the key. A lot of you, okay, if you are using these things, at least keep, in The Wizard of Oz, keep Oz behind the curtain or whatever. Like, we don't want to hear that you are using these tools in your artistry. We really don't. And honestly, if there's going to be something to where it's going to be very clear that these are not your thoughts and not your feelings and not your words. Like I said, when he said, did I say that? About just something that he put out there. He probably did, because I've heard that same thing many times before about, it's just because you can buy it doesn't mean you can afford it. I'm not saying that a young man can't have those kinds of thoughts, but something tells me that those aren't his words or his thoughts or his feelings either. So honestly, be smart enough to keep Oz behind the curtain. If you are an artist out here who is working with AI and sharpening your sword artificially, if you will.
Metronome, what you think, man?
I think that there is something to be said about the element of performance and ability. Ashford and Simpson wrote a lot of records for a lot of people, but could those people, do you have Marvin Gaye or whoever getting on stage and doing the damn thing or not? Right. So I mean, I still think that this kid has to invest enough time and energy. And Lone and I have talked about this distinctly it's about caring. Like, do you care about what you're doing? Do you care about your art form? Do you care about the craft? Are you willing to, put in the work to become great? Because, Skills writes a lot of records for a lot of rappers, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the person rapping is good at it. It doesn't automatically mean it's going to be a great record. And also, this is the age of convenience. And I say this fully admitting on this podcast that I've never downloaded ChatGPT. I've never used it. I typically, Lone knows this, I am not an early adopter of most technological advances.
Took you out to get Serato.
I was literally probably the last one. But yeah, I mean, I tend to not adapt to those things or adopt them early because I don't know if I just love the struggle of the process. I just think there's an authenticity 100% to trying to learn to do the work. That doesn't make it better. I'm not there's lots of people that have tried to do the work and they're really bad at it. So,
100%. Like, with your school, it's like you can't download that. You have to put the work in to get to that point. What I wanted to ask you was, with you mentioning, Serato and Jay Moore, I'm talking about you being one of the later people to actually try it. Do you ever look at technology to be able to say, okay, I can take this portion of technology, put my genius with it without 100% depending on it, and then make that turn into something else?
No, for sure.
That's just evolution, right?
Yeah.
I guess that's where I'm going, like the evolution point of it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't utilize any modern tools.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that if you pour enough into any craft or anything that you're trying to learn, you're going to get enough reps over time to figure this thing out and to find your voice and to develop it into a skill and to sharpen that skill. Yeah. I don't think a lot of these people, Baby Chief Do It or whatever, a lot of them honestly don't seem to really care. No, they don't. They don't care. Maybe it's maybe they're seeking stardom or maybe it's money or whatever that motivation is. Mm-hmm. I usually am a little skeptical of like the caring part of it, and I think that's for me that's often like kind of what defines somebody as great is like they've gone through these processes to lean into that greatness. And I feel like cats like this aren't going to get there, and ChatGPT is not going to help them get there.
That's fair. Jay Diff, jump in, bro. What you think?
This isn't the first time or the last time that AI has assisted any artist that's out right now.
True.
He might just be one of the first people to admit it in a sit-down conversation with somebody. We kind of have to get used to this is the regular norm at this point. You have all of these tools that are readily available to you. Even talking from a DJ point of view, and I know he can agree as well, the DJ community would not be as big right now if it wasn't for technology, because people don't have the wherewithal or the focus or the proper skill set in order to try to learn on vinyl without, having a computer show you what the BPM is. I guarantee you can ask a bunch of DJs, how do you count BPMs, and they won't be able to tell you.
That's real.
So, technology is just something that's here, and that's not taking anything away from DJs that only know how to DJ like that, because there's some amazing DJs out there. But technology is here, and it's here to stay, and we just have to get used to the fact that this is going to be a tool that everybody in every arena is going to use. It doesn't matter if they're a rapper, a singer, a songwriter, whatever. It's not a hip-hop thing. And I think I always get a little upset or perturbed every time it's always hip hop. It's always, let's point it at hip hop. Hip hop is the only one doing this. Hip hop did that. Hip hop did this. This is a universal situation where technology is pretty much kind of taking over and steering everybody's, car essentially.
Well, let's use another example. who here wants their doctor to have gotten through medical school only using ChatGPT and not actually putting in the bookwork? Because I sure don't.
That's a good point.
I think that, again, like, it can be a tool. This is what I say to all of our students at academics. Is it a tool or is it a crutch?
Yeah.
Because it's either one or the other. If it's a tool, then you're still, allegedly putting in the work and really trying to strive towards whatever that thing is that you're trying to achieve, But
what's crazy? When you came from the school of getting it out the mud, quote unquote, you can see when it's the crutch. I think we are equipped to be able to see when certain things are the crutch versus that person that has done, I guess, if you want to say, their homework, if you will. And, whenever I run into younger producers, I always tell them, yeah, this is your era. These are the things that you've been equipped with. But if you can hone your skills on that ground level first before you start to take advantage of everything that is available to you in your era, it's going to make you that much better, because a lot of people are just jumping right to the advanced course, the cheat code, if you will. They just want to get right to it. They start making beats and just throwing stuff out there.
But you got to realize too, we kind of come from an era that a lot of the people we looked up to were still purists.
That's true.
They did it and it was fun, and it wasn't necessarily just directly by the book or things like that. You have to realize now we're in an age where, okay, Baby Chief did it. He's already in a situation to where it doesn't matter what he did or how he got there. He's there now. So he can use this to his advantage. It doesn't matter. Because to your point, it's not about wanting to be the best, essentially. It's about trying to, be popular. I've already gained that recognition. So at this point, I've already made it. I'm on. I'm going to use this as the crutch that it is and keep it moving. He might not even want to rap.
And that's not new.
Year from now.
That's not new. Again, like if we're taking the old head argument, there's always been people that were not good at any point in music making or sports or whatever. There's always people that or people that have seemingly overachieved. Obviously, we also existed on the other side of that digital divide.
That part,
and we're one of the I think sometimes for our generation of people, it's interesting, but it's kind of a struggle, because everybody in this room right now, other than Gobinator over there, remembers the time when the internet did not exist.
Yeah,
like there was no options. Well, the only cheat code we had was buying the Game Genie on Nintendo. There were very limited options. You had to do the work, across the board. So I don't know. I think that sometimes that colors our perspective and makes us seem jaded. But when you experience life in that way, then it does kind of seem like things are just a little bit too easy.
Being an educator, as Nick is, we instill the same type of things into our students at Academics.
Sure.
And it's kind of like I feel like I have this type of conversation, I think, almost once a week, if not more than that, right? But I think another interesting piece to this is, like, depending on how the world is moving from here moving forward and the generations after us, things and how we accumulate information, how we go through the process of everything, because we grew up without the internet and we grew up with it, we understand that.
Right.
But there are generations and then another generation that will never have to worry about that. And so that brings up another question. Is it really that big of a deal? Does or to this other question here, do these AI tools, does it democratize? Does it empower more people?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I think there's this interesting, like, what's the word? It's not juxtaposition, but maybe it is, but it's like how they interlink. There's multiple, like, it's interlinked into how, like, multiple things are kind of happening at the same time, to where, like, sure, you have to put in the right amount of work on the thing if you want to be good at the thing. But if it doesn't matter if you're good at the thing anymore, then you're going to approach it differently.
You know what, Lon? I think, first of all, I agree with you. And as things evolve, because we know we're in an era where things change rapidly. It's not 3 or 4 years. It's 6 to 8 months. Something will change. Like ways change. And that goes to what I believe MetroGnome talked about when he mentioned purists, the people that we followed or whatever. That part of us is never going to go away. So anybody that's around us, we're going to always try to embed that into them. But is that the best way to be beneficial? We can't say that anymore because things evolve so much.
I mean, I still believe that it is.
I believe in it too, but I'm also saying, like, if someone says, well, Major, I don't want to go that route. I got 2 of my friends that just have 50,000 views off just doing this. Right. What am I going to tell them? I can't tell them that it's like they're not right. You see what I'm saying?
No, for sure. And I think depends on where it comes from. Do you care about the thing that you're, it goes back to care, right? Like, it goes back to care. Do you care about the art form that you are participating in? Well, then you're going to respect the art form. That means that you're going to practice to be better at the art form, as opposed to just kind of like pimp out the art form in a way. You know what I mean? I don't know. But yeah, it's something, with how everything's changing is something that I have to kind of reevaluate all the time.
Yeah. Well, even with music making, I mean, the playing field has gotten, it is more level, and it has been like that for quite a while. Because I mean, think about, again, we were talking about earlier with imaginary players, like you had to rent studio time, right? Now no one almost ever goes to a real studio.
For sure.
And so in that way, like democratizing, it has become more democratized in that particular capacity, because we do have way more people making music, which is great because there's lots of great music out there. But we are fooling ourselves if we think that there's also not a whole lot of terrible music out there.
Sure.
Just because there's also more people making music. So,
and there's more access.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's an
like
access.
it's like a yin and a, it's like a gift and a curse type thing. Thanks to our partners. Dr. Coleman of Coleman Dental is our go-to dentist. He's a longtime Indianapolis arts and music supporter located right in Broad Ripple. Our good friends at Indie CD and Vinyl operate one of the best record stores in North America. Shop new and used in their site or visit them in person. And the best way to support the New Old Heads is to visit our Patreon and become a member. All details on newoldheads.com.
Did Gibbs and Benny just end hip-hop's hottest beef? We have to break this down. So, in 2021, Freddie Gibbs mocked Benny. We remember this. This was after a robbery attempt that left Benny, he was shot. This is real talk.
Nobody was shot at that particular incident, though. Continue, I'm sorry. I was just clarifying.
Thank you. So, but we know things escalated between Benny and Freddie because this is all documented. And he ended up being with Freddie's ex-girlfriend at the time. I think her name was Destiny Fox. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's her name.
But there was recent footage that popped up of he and Benny talking in the airport. Now, who knows what the nature of the conversation was, but I saw Westside Gunn basically saying, look, it's either going to be tables and chairs or y'all need to just talk and figure out what's going on.
War or peace.
Well, the clip was longer than that, but I see what you're saying. And I feel him on that, because when you see 2 artists that are dope and you can tell what that project would be, as a fan, I like to hear stuff like that. So, do fans ultimately benefit from the creative output that a beef can produce, or do they get caught up in a negative cycle of the online conflict, the drama that comes with it? And does that detract or take away from the music? Because you have 2 sides to this. What do you guys think about this? Because I think a potential, reconciliation would be dope, because I know what type of music they would be able to put out if they got together.
There's part of me, it's that thrives off of negativity, and honestly, if you're a content creator, you can't judge me, because so do you. Because hey, man, we realized what the numbers were when we were able to go and dissect the Kendrick versus Drake.
It's true.
There's some of you who became content creators because of that beef. I mean, you have nothing to talk about now, nobody cares, but that's neither here nor there. So honestly, wartime does create a certain level of content for, I would just say, us as content creators. As far as consumers and people who love hip hop, I would love to see them get together and do some high level street rap. you know, that is something that I enjoy as well, just as someone who, you know, likes to put on my headphones and hear a slap here and there. But just because it's peace between them doesn't mean there's going to be collaboration. You know, I mean, we talked about Pete Rock and CL Smooth. I don't think there's particularly war between them. You know, they don't have anything that is detrimental, or they're not talking about each other's families or anything. But, you know, you listen to Pete Rock, you know, the past was the past, and that's never going to happen again. And so I think, if anything, maybe they've moved past beefing and talking bad about each other in public spaces. But I don't hold a lot of hope for them collaborating artistically anytime in the future.
What you think, Nick? Like, do fans, do they get something from this, or is it really about just the music and them being able to be pulled away from what could be in terms of the projects?
Yeah, I mean, I think two things can be true at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unfortunately, we've seen many examples of great music that's come from beef. You know, so I don't know. I mean, I didn't even know that they were actually prepping to work together. Like, I wasn't even hip to that information.
Well, it's not confirmed that they're, you know, I guess prepping to work on anything. It's just more of a conversation that happened at the airport that could lead to something down the road. I don't think everything has been cleared. It's
just
like
wishful thinking.
Yeah, this is more wishful thinking just from the fan. I'm a fan, so I'd love to hear this, but this is more wishful thinking. Nothing has been confirmed at this point.
I mean, well, one thing we know about Freddie Gibbs and Benny the Butcher is they both like to talk shit about people.
That's true.
So, I mean, I kind of think this is just par for the course for what they both do. I mean, obviously, I know it's been covered, but, you know, Gibbs taken shots at people on his recent record, and Benny's done it plenty in the past. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, cats like that are gonna
do that.
They're gonna do that. They're gonna make records talking crazy about people. And I'm sure some great music will come out of it. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I ain't mad at you.
Are we gonna get a hit 'em up out of this? Who's to say? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I've mentioned this on the show before. Like, I'm not a huge, I know battling and rah is a part of hip hop, right?
Yeah.
Fine. I'll concede that. But I don't necessarily enjoy it.
Mm.
You know, it's not something about, like, it would be cool to see. So I don't know, to answer the question, like, I don't know if it really amplifies it for me. Like,
okay.
Like, it doesn't really do anything. I think it would just be cool if, like, two artists that were really good, that were kind of in the same pocket, got together and made more records together. So it would be cool if that happened, but, you know.
Does it feel like it's happened more recently? Like is this kind of a touchstone because Drake specifically has been wrapped up in Kendrick and Pusha T and all of this stuff, or has it always permeated? I don't get me wrong. I know it's always been there. I know the LL Cool Mo D. We can go way back. I mean, I know that, but I'm just saying, like, what the Kendrick and Drake thing did is put it on, like, CBS News. Is this just more high profile? Is this on our minds because of that? Because I mean, I don't think CNN is gonna mention Gangsta Gibbs and Benny the Butcher.
I think a lot of people have just seen this as a formula. Now, I honestly think that Benny and Freddie have some real issues going on.
I agree.
So, like, I don't know any of the backstory on that. So,
to keep it short and sweet, something happened in Buffalo where Freddie was supposed to do a concert. He was in a restaurant with his baby mama / girlfriend. I think a chain or something was taken. He still did the show that night, and things kind of just ensued from there. I don't know how it initially started, but they've been jabbing at each other a little bit back and forth for years now. But again, I think people see that formula and kind of stick to it. What's his name? Joey Badass dropped a song at the beginning of the year calling people out, essentially, and it was in the name of rap. So, like, when we talk about a beef in the name of it just being a friendly jab on wax, get to it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it brought along a lot of songs from other people. Even Ab-Soul dropped a diss song toward him, and they're going on tour together.
Yeah.
So it's literally in the nature of hip hop. I G for that. But when it comes to it getting serious, we all were around when the East West Coast beef started, and we seen what happened to two of the people that were at the top of the totem pole in the rap game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This literally leads to gunplay that leads to death. That's what I don't enjoy. Now, if we're having some friendly jabs to kind of, you know what I'm saying, steel sharpen steel, I'm with that. But as far as like the fans benefiting and things like that, I mean, it's something to talk about online. We didn't have the outlet to talk about it online, so it didn't live as long as it does now, I think. And a lot of people definitely kind of hype it up because everybody takes a side and my side is right, your side is wrong, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, these are rappers. This is their career. Yeah. And hopefully it doesn't escalate to something where, you know what I'm saying, dead rappers get better promotion.
Yeah, true.
You got anything to add, Lone? Or you straight?
No, I'm good.
No, see, I don't even think they made it up. It was just a conversation. This is just people kind of thinking that they made up, and Westside Gunn saying that it would be good for them to actually sit down and talk.
I agree.
Because this is neutral ground. Somewhere else, tables, like you said, will be moving or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Either it's war or it's peace. So, like, if they can move on from this and get on with their lives and continue to release music, because honestly, I thought together they made a pretty dope 1-2 combination.
For sure. I agree.
So if they're able to get back to that, that's cool. If not, then that's cool too. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, the only thing that I would just kind of echo is what Terry said. Like, there's a difference between like the Ray Vaughn and Joey Badass beef than the seriousness of what seems to be behind the Benny the Butcher and Freddie Gibbs thing.
Right. Yeah, when you get robbery and people's baby moms involved, like that takes it to another level.
Well, this isn't the first time that Gibbs has been involved in like robberies and shootings and things like that too. So I think the potential for that seems closer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At this age, I'm like, look, man, let's get to the music, bro. Like,
facts.
Let's just, because to Terry's point, this is one of those situations where it's definitely real. This is not one of those other ones, but at the same time, it's real. But I also know what type of heat we've seen it. We've had a few examples of what it could be. So, from
50 is an anomaly because you know he came in the game beefing with people.
That's true.
Like even before the whole Ja Rule beef started that we knew of, he was already beefing with them. You know what I'm saying? And he got shot and survived that and continued to perpetuate this beef with everybody essentially, and he's still doing it to this day. That's his thing. I'm actually surprised that he's only been shot those however many times he was shot.
I mean, he's turned into a master troll, but he's also
got good security now.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's financially so secure that I think he is also insulated.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's true. That's true. He definitely came in on that type of time, though. That's a good point.
He's still on that type of time.
Yeah.
I mean, his first song we know of was
How to Rob.
Yeah. So shout out to Gibbs and Benny, man. Whatever that is, let's figure that out. And as they always say, it's cliche, but it's for the culture. Like, let's make some dope music, man. At the end of the day, I just like dope music. And hopefully these brothers can get together and do that. So let's go ahead and go to the next topic here on our docket, as we say. All right, so Steven Jackson checked Lil Yachty for his George Floyd bar. But during a recent live stream with, and I don't know who this is, Plaque Boy Max, did I say it right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
All right, it does matter.
He's a really famous live streamer.
Got you, thank you.
He was like on the XXL list or not the XXL, the Complex list for biggest, most influential hip hop people.
Oh, word, okay.
Yeah, he's in the top 10.
Okay.
Respect to him for that. So Lil Yachty made a comment about George Floyd that many found distasteful. Now, Steven Jackson, who was a close friend of George Floyd, we know that, publicly criticized Yachty for the remark. Jackson later stated that he spoke with Yachty directly, about the actual incident. You know, I think they got that squared away. We have a video to go with this, and then we'll discuss a couple questions about this.
I'm finna go break the bank for it. Put my knee up on her neck. I went George Floyd. I be tweaking your shit.
To all the blogs and shows that's calling me about the Lil Yachty, George Floyd situation, some of y'all don't respect because y'all never have content. All y'all do is look for mess. Some of y'all do. I won't be doing no interviews about it. I spoke to him. He's a smart young man. He's winning for a reason. He's a smart, super smart individual. He made a mistake. He apologized. We moved on from it. It's over with. That's what y'all want us. Jumping on these shows, talking about each other, feuding and, you know what I'm saying, dumb clown because y'all ain't got no content. We don't do that at all the smoke. We never clout chasing. We still winning. We leave that to the drunk shows. He gonna keep winning. He gonna keep doing his thing. We gonna meet up. He made a mistake. Let it go. Stop calling my phone.
That was a shot.
That was a big shot.
Isn't that a little ironic to throw a shot talking about? Okay.
Come on. Yeah. We'll talk about it. But that was definitely, Terry, that was definitely 100%.
That's beef.
That's beef.
Right.
Out in the open.
Yeah.
So was Steven Jackson justified in calling out Lil Yachty publicly, or should he have kept the conversation private?
Honestly, I don't care.
You don't care?
Either way. I mean, we live in again, he alluded to him having a podcast we all know called All the Smoke. Why wouldn't he address it? I mean, at the end of the day, unfortunately, things are about clicks. But he, to his defense, he did have a relationship with George Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you got to check these young cats because some people say because they don't realize the actual connotation of what they're doing. It's just something fly to say. I felt like saying it, and we're getting away from actually having a moral compass. What do I usually say?
I got morals.
Yeah. People they don't care about that type of shit. So
true.
It's just a current event to them to happen because unfortunately we become numb to a lot of this shit because it's so common. So him checking him either publicly or privately, I don't care either which way. I think he did what he was supposed to do. I think any OG around Lil Yachty probably should have put him to the side, but hey, that's not cool. You probably shouldn't do that. But Steven Jackson, I said Steven A. Jackson. That's crazy.
Take that.
Steven Jackson did it, and I'm not mad at it. I mean, he has a platform. He has things to promote, and people obviously use these platforms and things like that to get these views or whatnot, but he did it from an OG's perspective, so I can agree with it.
Metronome, what you think about Steven Jackson's choice of, method to check Yachty?
Do it.
I
don't know, man. I mean, yeah. I mean, again, he's a celebrity sports figure with a contemporary popular podcast. I would expect that he would probably, and he also obviously doesn't duck smoke. We know that about Steven Jackson, so I'm not surprised.
And I don't think he did this originally on his podcast. I think he just made a video.
It was on the side for sure. Yeah.
But I think the crucial factor here, and I agree with everything that Terry said, but having the personal relationship with George Floyd is the component that made this a story.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't have a problem with anybody checking somebody over a dead friend in a highly controversial one at that. Or controversial situation.
Everything's not a joke.
Everything is not a joke.
Not a punchline.
That's real.
I appreciate the fact that, instead of talking about Yachty, he talked to him.
Yeah.
Okay, true.
Because I think that's where a lot of beef gets escalated, because instead of actually just talking to people, we talk about them. So I'm glad that, and shout out to Yachty if he was able to receive whatever Steven Jackson said about that being wildly insensitive and inappropriate. Because a lot of times you can't tell these young boys nothing. Everything is a fair game. But we've seen these sort of things before. I just remember there was at one point, I want to say maybe it was Lil Wayne who had said something really out of pocket about Emmett Till.
I remember that.
And I just remember then there was something else where Nicki Minaj had said something, that was just historically, due to our struggle here in America, was wildly insensitive. And I remember thinking, wow, I think everybody in Young Money just needs to take a Black History class. But I just think that a lot of times we just want to be so ill. Like if you're somebody who's an MC and you forget, hey man, everything is not a punchline. It just isn't.
Everything is not on the table.
And trust me, like the rappers that we came up with, Like they would say something like, kidnap the president's wife without a plan and hang it. It's like the Ku Klux Klan. Like, that's Nas on his first, public thing. That's kind of wild, And I think sometimes there are people who think, well, if my forefathers could say something crazy like that, then, let me just go ahead and I'm going to do my thing. And sometimes we don't realize what a misstep that is. And, as ill as Nas, Nasty Nas is the illest, he doesn't rhyme like that anymore, even though he's prolific and he's able to put out basically 6 albums in it was a course of 2 years at one point.
Yeah, you can't even say some of this.
He just
riding to Indiana, stabbing women like the family.
Come on,
yeah, come on now.
Yeah,
and I ain't gonna hold you. Lil Yachty did not think about any type of history with Nas and none of that.
No, I'm not saying that.
But I feel where you going.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just saying that, like, it's so easy for us to point the fingers at the young boys. It's like, hey, man, some of our favorites, they took it a little too far as well. I mean, Akinelli, and I'm even talking about the joints that we know.
Yeah.
I just remember Dream Hampton had to like really let him know what time it is. You can do your Google and research on that as far as like the content of some of his lyrics. And so I just can't put this on the youngsters. I just think there is a learning. Sometimes the older generation has to really say, once it has to be in a place where like we're not just talking about young people, we're talking to them, and we have to not just say, okay, well, these youngsters don't know what they're talking about. We chastise them. That's the whole thing where I say, like, as an old head, like, I don't ever want to be that person to where I'm talking down to specifically young Black artists, especially in front of, what some people consider the white media. Because I know how I didn't appreciate it when, and God bless him, God bless Calvin Butts, God bless C. Dolores Tucker, because you know what? They weren't wrong. It's just the way they approached it was, there are some things that we could have like maybe built on had they not gone in front of these cameras and actually came and talked to the young people. Because once again, these are your children. And I have to look at it like that when I talk about certain artists and maybe the responsibility they have to be more conscious as far as their lyrics are concerned, even if they're not conscious rappers.
Let me ask you this. This is a weird statement, and I don't mean to put responsibility on any one person when I say this, but this conversation, is there a responsibility to specifically have this type of conversation like Steven Jackson did in public, to call it out as opposed to private? And I acknowledge what you said about that, what you said there.
The infraction was in public, so I think the acknowledgement has to be in public as well.
Because he's Plaque Boy Max. He's on a big live stream. He's Lil Yachty. These are artists who've known to have a very large, major white young fan base, right? So if this is happening on a large space, to me, it almost seems like it's almost necessary to kind of, I don't want to say set the example because that's not the right thing to say, but you don't want it to almost go unseen by these young white kids that are watching this to say like, sure, you can make the conversation in private, but is that leading in the wrong direction? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question.
I honestly think that it was good that he said it, because I had no idea that this song or whatever even existed. Yeah. So without Steven Jackson actually calling it out, which he should have done, I wouldn't have known about it. So I think what he did was correct.
I do too, but this is my perspective.
Well, and it's aside from it being, something that was insensitive to George Floyd and the whole situation and what the country went through due to that. It's like, it's crazy how we can almost just skip past the blatant misogyny in the record.
Yeah, that as well.
That's kind of crazy. Is like, that's
a good point.
That's what we heard. I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand, like, because maybe we just so used to hearing all this really. Why? And then once again, I'm old, and so maybe these are the things that pop up when you're 48 years old and you hear certain things in a record. I was like, well, we weren't bothered by that. And
dang, now that you say that, that's a really wild line.
Yeah, and it's because we're so desensitized by how, and like this is why like I knew time was up as far as like, even if I hadn't been, essentially forced out of working, in the clubs. I remember hearing some rapper talking about tearing a girl's Nouveau ring out. And I was like, what are we doing? I was like, I got to get out of here. This is like, and the thing
That's
is,
well said
I heard
there.
women, I saw women just kind of vibing to it. I'm like, obviously I'm too old to be here.
What song was that?
I can't even tell you. I just know that I heard it must have been a hit because I heard it once a week.
Does she have 3 kids and
Talk to him.
No, that's another one though. But I mean, that's not even. That's just silly and kind of ridiculous. But like, this was something where I'm like, what are we doing?
I think the conversation is, kind of dials back to accountability to a certain degree, both for Lil Yachty to own up to kind of making a silly statement, but also, for Steven to kind of check him and them to have an adult conversation, iron it out, learn the lesson, maybe not do it again, which I think is something that we all have to do as humans, in order to have morals and but I don't know. I mean, I think that's kind of really what this kind of.
I think that part is the part that with the younger generation, you'll have some that will accept, like Yachty did. They'll have the conversation openly or openly apologize. Steven Jackson was describing it. It's like, he openly apologized. It was cool. We talked on the phone.
I've heard he's actually a very
Yachty's
sensible,
usually
cool.
Yachty seems to be just a real chill dude.
I've heard that they're going to actually link up too.
That's even better.
So,
that's even better. But there is the other side of that you have the younger artists that are, just hell bent, just disrespectful. And, Steven Jackson is an old head and we ain't trying to hear all this and that. So the refreshing part of this is Yachty being open to, his accountability, I guess is what I'm saying. I think that still speaks volumes for him, but hopefully some of the younger people can, see that and say, yeah, it's cool if we make a mistake. The OGs come down on us. Cool. I should get in my feelings. I'm going to accept it. We have a conversation and we move on from there. I think that part right there is, to me, the best part about all this.
Yeah, I kind of want to echo what you said as far as Yachty is concerned, because I remember having a conversation about him not knowing hip hop pioneers, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
Biggie or something.
And him actually going back and checking for it. And I think initially we kind of got on him for, why don't you know it?
That part.
But he made a conscious effort. Well, I'm in this lane now. I need to know my shit. And he actually started going back and studying people.
And we gave him his piece.
It kind of reflects in how his style has evolved too. I mean, it's not no lyrical miracle or super crazy type shit, but I actually have respect for some Yachty shit now.
NewOldHeads.com for all the education you need this year. If you see it, like it, subscribe to it, hit any bell you see for notifications. Don't forget to check out our Patreon for all the unedited episodes. Give us a 5-star rating as well, because we appreciate that. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Yes, sir.
In a minute.
Throw down that box.
Throw down that box.